Hi, everybody. I'm back here with Amina's voice. Today I'm going to be reading chapter 10 and 11 to you. Make sure you check out my discussion board posts on my Power School page and join in on some of those discussions. Here we go. Chapter 10, Amina's voice. Please take some more, Bhaijaan. You've hardly eaten. Mama picks up a silver serving dish that I polished the week before, now filled with spicy spinach and lamb stew, and holds it out in front of Bhaijaan. My plate is still half full. Even though I only took a little bit of everything, it ends up being way too much food for me to eat. Not only is there stew, but also curried chicken, lentils, rice with vegetables, naan, salad, and yogurt sauce. The spread looks like what Mama puts out for a full-fledged dinner party, even though the guests are missing. And instead of being stuck eating with the kids in the kitchen or in the basement, Mustafa and I are actually sitting at the dining room table, eating off the gold-rimmed china and wiping our chins with stiff, starched white cloth napkins. Bhaijaan waves away the dish and shakes his head. No more. Everything was delicious, but I can't eat another bite. Mama spoons more curry onto his plate, despite his protests. Amina, go pour water on for chai, please, she says. Mustafa, please clear the table. Luckily, she's too distracted to notice how much food I have left or to say anything about it, so I take my plate with me. Mustafa stacks a few more and follows me into the kitchen. That was a ridiculous amount of food. He shakes his head as he places the plates in the sink. Ma can't keep this up for 3 months. I know. Did you see all those leftovers? Let's get Bhaijaan to say he wants nothing but burgers, pizza, and chicken wings from now on. And that he wants to eat on paper plates. I eye the growing pile of dishes with dread. I fill the heavy silver kettle with water and take out the worn mugs we normally use, before thinking twice and pulling out the matching gold-rimmed teacups and saucers. What's for dessert? Mustafa peers into the refrigerator. Oh, yes! He carefully lifts out a crystal bowl filled with round balls floating in a thick honey-colored syrup. Gulab jamun? When did Mama make those? I wonder. The sticky, sweet, donut-like treats are my favorite Pakistani dessert, but take hours to prepare. Mama comes in, carrying 2 platters of food from the dining table. Can you both clear the rest of the table and load the dishwasher? She lets out a tired yawn. Mustafa mouths the word pizza to me, and I grin back at him, feeling like my old brother is back for a minute. When the tea is ready, we gather around Bhaijaan in the family room. Mama fixes a cup for Bhaijaan, mixing sugar into the steamy, milky brew, scented with cardamom. I bite into the gulab jamun and am instantly hit by a jolt of sweetness. So, Bhaijaan, tell us, how are things in Pakistan? Baba asks as he places his empty glass dessert bowl on the coffee table with a satisfied expression. It's getting more and more difficult each day. Bhaijaan's eyes look sad. Things are getting so expensive. Even basics like flour cost so much that it's hard for poor people to afford simple bread. May Allah have mercy on them. My gulab jamun turns into a lead ball in my gut as I think of the uneaten food on my plate that I just scraped into the garbage. But our family is doing well. Alhamdulillah, Bhaijaan continues. The business is growing and the kids are fine. Ahmed was admitted to medical school. Wonderful, Baba says. You must be so proud of him. Mustafa studies his fingernails closely. Everybody was sending you all their love, and how can I forget? Mustafa, bring me my suitcase, please. Your cousin sent a few things. Mustafa jumps up to get the suitcase and drags it over. Bhaijaan unzips it and pulls out a pile of oddly shaped packages. I think of Santa Thaya again as he distributes the presents. This is for you, Amina, from your Bhaijaan. He passes me a lumpy gift wrapped in crinkly pink cellophane. And these are from your cousins. The crinkly paper holds a bright blue shalwar kameez with a tiny purple paisley pattern and gold buttons. I also unwrap delicate bangles made out of glass, covered in newspaper with Urdu lettering on it. One of my cousins sent me a small lacquered jewelry box. The other gave me a blue and white beaded wall hang with a big Arabic Allah carved out of wood dangling from it. This wasn't necessary, Bhaijaan. Everyone's love and prayers are enough. Baba seems embarrassed as he touches the collar of the new black shalwar kameez his brother handed him. Nonsense! It is just tokens. Everyone misses you and wants you to visit. That's true, at least according to the handwritten note on tissue-thin paper that came with my gifts. My dearest Amina, I trust you are well. What class are you in now? When will you visit us? It has been a long time. I hope you like these bangles and they fit you. And one day I hope we see each other soon. Please come to Pakistan. Khuda Hafiz, Mariam. I haven't seen my cousins in 6 years and hardly remember them apart from a few memories of playing dolls with the girls and stealing mangoes and dried dates from the kitchen when the cook wasn't looking. My cousins are people I don't really think of until I get an occasional photo or formal letters like this. I wish I knew them better. When will you all come to visit Pakistan? Bhaijaan asks as if he's reading his mind. It has been too long. Soon, Bhaijaan, we will visit, inshallah, Baba says. He always says inshallah when he talks about the future, since it means God willing. We have been talking about it, but it is hard. That's true, too. I often hear my parents talk about visiting Pakistan as a family again, but then they add that it isn't the right time to be away from work or that we shouldn't miss school. And lately, we hear more and more frightening stories of people from America getting sick or robbed while visiting. The discussions usually end with, maybe we'll go next year when things are better, inshallah. Your children need to know where they come from. Bhaiján's forehead wrinkles and he frowns. And why don't they speak Urdu? Baba shifts in his seat. They understand it, but we speak both English and Urdu to them, and the kids respond to us in English, he says. Baba seemed ashamed of this. I suddenly wish Urdu didn't jumble in my head and come out all wrong. It's just as bad as when I tried to read Arabic. You should speak to them in Urdu only, and don't answer them if they reply in English. That is the only way they will learn. Bhaijaan acts like Mustafa and I aren't in the room hearing his unwelcome advice. My face grows warmer. If our uncle plans to ignore us unless we speak to him in Urdu, there's going to be a whole lot of silence around here. Well, we have been focusing more on their Arabic study than Urdu, Mama says. You should hear them recite the Quran. No, you really shouldn't. Mashallah, that's good. Bhaijaan appears somewhat pacified. And Bhaijaan, Baba adds, the kids are going to be in a recitation competition at the Islamic Center. We hope you would help them prepare. Yes, of course, I will help them. My heart sinks as my chances of getting out of the competition shrink more than before. But I didn't get to think about it for long as the sound of the adhan plays from the mosque-shaped clock in the den, filling the air with the call for the day's last prayer. We all get up to prepare. I grab my favorite scarf, while Mustafa spreads out colorful prayer rugs over the carpet. Bhaijaan stands in the front to lead us all, taking Baba's usual spot since he's both the eldest and the most knowledgeable of the Quran. I'm completely floored once Bhaijaan starts to recite the familiar verses and finally understand where I got my musical talent. I've always known that it's definitely not from my parents. Baba is horribly tone deaf, and Mama can barely carry a tune. But my uncle has a beautiful voice. As he speaks, he masterfully elongates certain words and varies the pitch of the Arabic phrases, which run together almost like a song. The sound rings around the room, reverberating off the walls, and echoes inside me. Imam Malik recites really well, and I always like listening to him, but hearing Bhaijaan connects me to these verses in a way I've never experienced before. As I listen intently, I wish I could recite Arabic just like him. I imagine producing those melodious tones and producing each letter properly, even with others listening, and the idea makes me happy. I end my prayers with a special wish. Please, Allah, help the poor people in Pakistan who don't have enough to eat, and protect my cousins in Pakistan. And please help me finally be able to pronounce the big ha. Chapter 11. What's that? Emily leans over to sniff in the direction of Sujine's lunch container. It smells really good. I almost drop my sandwich and stare in disbelief at Emily, who is sitting across from me next to Sujine. Now Emily likes Korean food all of a sudden? It's my mom's famous bulgogi, Sujine replies. Barbecue beef. Even though I know it's impossible, she's acting like she's forgotten all about what we always refer to as the incident. That was the day Sujine brought kimchi in her lunch in third grade, and Emily and Julie pinched their noses and created a huge scene about how terrible it smelled. Can I try some? Emily asks. She waves her fork near Sujine's food a little too eagerly. Ever since she's become part of our wagon trail group, she's been sitting with us at lunch. I haven't said anything else about it to Sujine. She already knows what I think about her sudden friendliness toward Emily. I've dropped plenty of not-too-subtle hints about it, and either way, she's been acting like my opinion doesn't matter a whole lot. Sure, Sujine pushes the container toward Emily. This is so good. Amina, you should try this. Emily gushes between chews. I've tried it. I have it all the time when I go to Sujine's house. I don't add that it's one of the only Korean dishes I really like. I don't touch anything sour or pickled, cabbage, fried eggs, or the spicy red sauce. Emily pokes her fork into a baked chicken nugget that sits next to wilted green beans and an apple on her lunch tray. I wish my parents could cook like that. Doesn't your mom make those peanut butter cookies that you used to always bring in for class parties? I can't help asking. Those cookies are amazing, and I used to always look forward to them in elementary school until they banned any party snacks with peanuts. I thought she must be a great cook. No, I wish, Emily repeats. Those cookies are like one of the only things she knows how to make, so she bakes them all the time. I'm pretty sick of them. What do you guys eat then? Does your dad cook? Sujine asks. We have a lot of frozen stuff. My dad grills sometimes. My grandma used to live with us, and she made really good Polish food, but Emily pauses and fumbles with her napkin. She died a few years ago. My mom and grandma didn't get along, so my mom never wanted to learn how to cook like her. Now we never get to eat those kinds of things anymore. That's really sad, Sujine says. My granddad lives with us. Yeah, that's really sad, I echo. Emily's life always seemed perfect to me, but now I wonder if maybe it isn't. After my grandma died, my mom went back to work full-time. She works so much now that she doesn't have time for anything else. Emily's shoulders droop slightly. Sujine's eyebrows furrow. What does she do? She's a lawyer, and she says that she's so lucky to have her career back that she has to work extra hard. That's rough, Sujine sympathizes. My mom's a nurse, and we have the restaurant, so she's really busy too. But I'm lucky both my parents are really good cooks. I picture Mr. Park in the kitchen, chopping up huge amounts of vegetables. He always hands me a piece of red pepper or broccoli and asks me to test it for freshness. And then Mrs. Park says something about how he should feed me butter instead to fatten me up. You can come over for dinner any time if you want, Emily, Sujine adds. Really? Emily brightens instantly, her green eyes sparkling. Yeah, sure, Sujine is nonchalant. My parents love to cook for people. Thanks, Sujine. I feel the spark of jealousy again as Emily and Sujine compare stories about living with grandparents and annoying little sisters. I nibble on a carrot stick as Emily talks about how her dad owns his own construction business, and Sujine shares her parents' challenges running their deli. It's happening. They're really becoming friends. I grip the side of the bench I'm sitting on so hard that my knuckles turn white. When did Sujine decide that Emily was better than not so bad? And when was she planning to tell me? After eating, we're free to go outside to the courtyard for the last 15 minutes of the lunch period. We walk together toward the big maple tree, which is Sujine's and my regular spot. Emily pauses in the shade of the tree. Okay, so I guess we'll see you later. I finally speak up. I want to be alone with Sujine to see if it can be normal, like it always is when it's just the two of us. Things are all mixed up inside me, and I need some time to digest more than my lunch. Is it okay if I hang out with you guys? Emily arches her eyebrows. Sujine quickly glances at me, but either misreads my face or ignores it. Sure, she says. Great. Emily finds a spot to sit down, pushes away leaves, and settles onto the grass comfortably. There's something I wanted to ask you about, she starts to say. Yeah? Sujin asks. It's a little embarrassing. Emily yanks on some crabgrass and blushes. Then you don't have to ask us, I mutter. Maybe I'll just talk to you later, Emily says. She directs her words at Sujin and tilts her head toward me slightly. No, whatever you can say to me, you can say to Amina. She's totally cool and you can trust her. Sujin looks at me with wide eyes. Right, Amina? Yeah, I mumble. Okay, Emily says, looking unsure. Sujin waits. Go on, she cries. I kind of like someone, Emily murmurs. She focuses on Sujin as she speaks. I work hard to suppress a groan. And? Sujin prompts. And I was wondering if you think he might like me. Emily's face turns pink as she speaks, and she giggles nervously. I glance at Sujin to see if she's as grossed out as me, but no, she seems fascinated. Not only is Emily taking up important break time, but she's talking about boys. Sujin and I never waste time talking about stuff like that. Boys are the last thing I need to worry about, especially since most of them are so annoying. Who is it? Sujin asks. She leans in to hear Emily better. I'm a little curious to know who has Emily acting so silly, but I try to act like I'm not. Well, he's in our social studies class. Emily is clearly enjoying the spotlight. And he's got blonde hair. Bradley? I burst out. Oh my God, you like Bradley? Ew, no way. Emily scrunches up one side of her face in disgust. Seriously, Amina? You're really guessing Bradley? Sujin scoffs. No, he was just the first blonde boy I could think of. We've been spending way too much time with him lately. It's Justin, Emily says in a whisper. And then she buries her face in her arm, like the Bollywood actresses always do when they're overreacting to a marriage proposal. I can see that, Sujin says. He's kind of cute. There's that word again. Puppies are cute. Babies are cute. But sixth-grade boys? Yuck. I've known Justin since the first grade, and will never forget the first time he spoke to me. We were sitting together along the wall, with our legs sticking out in front of us. My white sandals were decorated with flowers and had little lights on them that glowed whenever I walked or banged my feet together. Look at that, Justin said, pointing toward my sandals. I thought he was appreciating the special light-up quality of my shoes until he added, You have grass growing on your legs. I was stunned. No, I don't, I retorted in a small voice. Yeah, you do. Look. Justin pointed to the fine, dark hairs on my chins. My eyes welled up, and I didn't know what to say, so I sat in silence against the wall, swallowed up in my shame, waiting to go home. Since that day, I've always felt a bit gorilla-like around Justin, and made it a habit to avoid him. Thankfully, he has never mentioned my hair or really talked to me again, but I have never forgotten it. 5 years later, Justin has a forest of his own growing on his legs and some fuzz on his upper lip. I picture his tousled, dirty blonde hair, dark blue eyes, and very long neck. Justin is the kind of boy who is always in a jersey and gets picked first for every team during gym class. I don't understand what is cute about him at all. So, do you think he likes me too? Emily asks Sujin. Maybe, Sujin answers. Have you ever even talked to him? I don't wonder if Sujin is pretending to be interested anymore. She's totally into the conversation. I lean in closer to look at her. Is she wearing lip gloss? We ride the same bus, and yesterday he asked if I dropped my book. I didn't even have that book, so maybe he was trying to talk to me. Or maybe he really didn't know if you dropped the book, I point out. I want to talk about something else, anything else. Sujin and I haven't even had the chance to talk about the big-haired girl with the southern accent getting voted off The Voice. It was a huge shock, but I don't feel like talking about it in front of Emily. Then what happened? Sujin leans in closer to Emily as if she hadn't heard what I said. The two of them continue to chatter about what Justin said or didn't say to Emily, when he looked or didn't look at her, and what all of that could mean. I shred dried leaves and listen, watching the pile of brown bits grow in front of me, feeling invisible. The wind slowly picks up the leaf bits and carries them away, and I wonder if I slowly drifted off like them, would Sujin even notice? It's the end of chapter 11. Come back next time for chapter 12. See you guys.